Good morning, everyone. I'm Stewart. I'm a Republican candidate for governor of the Commonwealth, Virginia. And we're here today because I wanted to announce my intention that when I'm governor, I'm going to be signing into law the Virginia equivalent of this Texas legislation, SB 4, which would make it a criminal offense for any local official or any state official or any university official to declare themselves a sanctuary county, a sanctuary city, or a sanctuary university. And the reason we're going to do this is because these sanctuary cities and sanctuary universities are proliferating around the United States, and I just find this absolutely reprehensible, and the reason is this. Federal law enforcement officials are simply trying to do their jobs to remove especially criminal illegal aliens. And when a locality refuses to cooperate with federal authorities and to comply with federal law, then that person is breaking federal law and they should be penalized for it. So in the case of the Texas law, which I fully support, which I will be implementing in Virginia, it will make it up to a $25,000 fine per day charged directly to that local official or to that university official, and jail time for declaring themselves or their entity a sanctuary city or a sanctuary university. This is not new to me, as you all know. 10 years ago, I led what is considered the nation's toughest crackdown on illegal immigration in Prince William County. It was controversial then, but today, most of Prince William County has come around to support this policy because it targets those illegal aliens who are committing crimes. And thus far, we've handed approximately 7,500 criminal illegal aliens over to ICE for deportation. We're very proud of this policy, and I, in part, give credit to this policy for the lower crime. We're at a 24-year low in the crime rate in Prince William County. The violent crime rate plummeted as soon as we put this policy into place. And this is also a policy which I will extend statewide when I'm governor. So with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions. The one last thing I do want to add here is that my opponent, Ed Gillespie, would leave this up to the localities. He would not mandate he would not do anything to use the state government to crack down on sanctuary cities. He would leave it up to the localities. Well, the problem with that is that we have a lot of liberal localities, like the city of Richmond, with Mayor LeVar Stoney, who have already declared themselves sanctuary cities, and they won't be the last ones. All these liberal localities who will be declaring themselves or have declared themselves as sanctuary cities. In order to prevent that from happening, we need state action. We need the General Assembly and legislation which I will sign as governor, which will make it unlawful and in fact a criminal offense for a local official, a mayor, or a university official to declare themselves a sanctuary locality, a sanctuary city, or a sanctuary university. Okay, any questions?
How would you define sanctuary city? And are you talking about a formal declaration or operating basically as a sanctuary city, but maybe they're not?
That's a great question, because there's no formal definition of a sanctuary city, but this is the way I would describe it. A sanctuary city is any locality that has declared itself a sanctuary county or a sanctuary city, or which refuses to cooperate with federal law enforcement officials or immigration officials to enforce federal law.
So does that mean, say, somebody comes up, I know there are different ways when this can come up. Somebody enrolls some kids in school.
Yeah.
You're talking about, well, they're not pressing parents to provide, proof of citizenship, or you're talking about people arrested for serious crime or non-crime. How do you see this playing out?
Well, I think that, again, first of all, nobody checks immigration status of children entering the school system. That's federal law. It's established federal law. What we're talking about are localities such as Richmond that have either declared themselves as sanctuary cities, as Richmond has, or those which effectively refuse to work with federal immigration authorities and other federal law enforcement officials to remove criminal illegal aliens. that answer your question?
Well, and I'm not trying to.
Yeah, it's okay.
I just want to get clear. If, say, somebody's pulled over, but it's very minor, but all right, if it's clear they're not a citizen, they're here illegally, but it's a minor offense, are you saying, okay, they should turn them over to ICE, or is it more a situation where you're talking about
So that's
serious crime?
yeah. What we're talking about is the 287G authority, which we have in Richmond County, which I would like to extend statewide in Virginia, allows local law enforcement officials to enforce federal immigration law with regard to those who have been arrested for a crime or for those who are suspected of participating in drug activity or gang activity. We have used that authority in Prince William County to root out MS-13 from Prince William County. MS-13 is becoming a much bigger problem around the state, but yeah, no, the authority is not used to just willy-nilly check people's immigration status. It's not used to raid job sites. Only federal officials can do that. The authority that 287G gives us is only the authority to use federal immigration law to go after criminal illegal aliens or those involved in gang or drug activity.
I guess I'm curious why you're targeting the city of Richmond, sort of covering this issue locally. The only localities that showed up on the Trump administration's failure to comply with detainers list that they produced as part of Trump's executive order is Chesterfield County. So I guess they are, in the eyes of ICE, far less cooperative than the city of Richmond. So I guess I'm just wondering why you're here today instead of Chesterfield.
Thank you. Question. The reason we're here is because the city of Richmond declared itself a sanctuary city just a few weeks ago.
But I guess I could say I'm a dinosaur, but that wouldn't make me a dinosaur. Chesterfield actually does the things you're saying you don't want Richmond to do, and Richmond's not doing it. So why focus on Richmond instead of Chesterfield, which is actually doing what you don't want to do?
Well, if Richmond has declared itself a sanctuary city, I'm going to take their word for it.
Okay. What's your message to the people of Chesterfield, which you're actually considered a sanctuary city in the eyes of the Trump administration?
Yeah. So let me say this: to the citizens of any locality that refuses to cooperate with federal authorities, let me say this. Your locality is doing you a great disservice by not enforcing federal immigration laws. We have dangerous criminal illegal aliens who are committing serious crimes in Virginia. Most recently in Lynchburg, where they abducted a 17-year-old 11th grader. They mutilated him, they murdered him, and they dumped his body in Bedford. This is happening across the state. Federal immigration law, especially that which is aimed at those who are criminals, is there for the protection, for public safety protection, for the protection of families in this state. And if the locality is not doing its job to help federal officials to enforce immigration law, they are doing a great disservice to their citizens. And I would say to those citizens that what I would like to do is to punish the local officials who are declaring themselves as declaring the localities as sanctuary cities. In one way, the citizens of these localities are already being punished because they have irresponsible leadership that is making it impossible for federal officials to do their job. So I don't want to punish them twice. In this case, what the Texas law does is it allows us to go directly after the lawbreaker, the local official or the university official who's refusing to enforce federal immigration laws against criminal illegal aliens.
So you would go after the Chesterfield County Sheriff under that?
Well, I would go after the local official who is refusing to cooperate with federal officials.
Under the Texas law, is the person personally liable, or is it something that, if there's a fine or something, does that cost the locality money, or does that cost that?
Right. Well, that's a great question. So the Texas law goes directly, personally, after the local official or the university official who's declared themselves, or their university or their entity, sanctuary city or sanctuary university. And that's where I think it belongs. It's a personal responsibility. Look, if a local official refuses to cooperate with federal law on any other topic, it's not tolerated, and you can be held personally accountable. Not just the locality, but personally accountable for your actions. And that's what we're trying to do here today. I don't think it's right to punish the entire locality because of the bad leadership. I think that what I love about the Texas law is it allows us to go directly after the local official who has declared their locality a sanctuary city.
I wonder if you have any response to the criticism when we saw similar legislation this past session.
Yeah.
It was often heard that it amounts to an unfunded mandate.
Well, look, there is a mandate, which is when you're a local official, and I've been one for 12 years, you have to comply with state and federal regulations. And if you deliberately refuse to comply with federal law, that makes me a lawbreaker if I'm doing that. And look, if you're going to do that, that's fine, but you're going to face the consequences. And I don't know if that answers your question. I don't see the unfounded mandate argument.
Would you provide any additional resources to this power? Better comply?
No, because look, it's up to the locality to assist federal and state law enforcement officials to comply. Let me say that again. It's up to localities already to comply with federal and state law and to assist state and federal law enforcement officials in enforcing federal and state law.
What would you say to the concerns of conservative leaders in Chesterfield who've decided it's unconstitutional to hold people on these detainer modes?
Well, I think that they're wrong. I don't know the exact circumstances in Chesterfield, so I can't speak directly about that. But there are a lot of establishment Republicans, like my opponent, Ed Gillespie, who don't see it as their responsibility to assist federal and state officials in enforcing federal immigration law. And I think they're just wrong. I think they're running away from this issue because it's controversial, but I think that's the wrong way to look at it. I think that federal immigration law is there, especially when they're targeting criminal illegal aliens, to protect public safety. You can't just leave it up to local officials. State must get involved to protect the entire state from crimes committed by illegal aliens.
So immigration enforcement is an area where you're comfortable saying officials should be able to hold people without a warrant signed by a judge?
It's incumbent upon local and state officials to assist federal law enforcement officials in enforcing federal immigration law or any other federal law for that matter.
Even if that means holding people without a warrant signed by a judge?
Well, like I said, we have to comply with federal law. If a local or a state official will not comply with federal law, then they need to be held accountable.
Are you talking about withholding funding as well to localities or?
I think that we can defund sanctuary cities if necessary, but I would rather go right after the local officials who are declaring the sanctuary cities or the sanctuary universities, rather than hold everybody in that locality responsible. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Good. Thanks a lot, everybody. Did you get what you needed?